The devil doesn't show up with horns. Sometimes it sounds like laughter when you're trying to grow. Roy never set out to change, not really. But one evening, while trying to hang a picture frame that refused to stay level, he let out a string of curses so colourful it made his youngest daughter burst into tears. "You said a bad word," she said, quietly sniffling. "That's 5 bad words," said his son, counting on his fingers. Roy looked at them, wide-eyed, solemn, and something in his chest shifted. The next morning, a mason jar appeared on the kitchen counter. A piece of masking tape on the side read, "The Daddy Mouth Fund." His wife said nothing. His daughter handed him $1. He laughed, then sighed, and dropped the bill in. At first it was a joke, $1 here, $1 there. The jar filled fast, $10, $15 in the first week. Roy didn't think much of it. Language was just part of the job. He worked in a warehouse where forklifts beeped and tempers flared, where punctuation was a pariah. But it was hard to leave work at work. The jar on the table kept filling, and his kids kept watching. So Roy tried. He really did. He replaced the words with awkward fillers. Gosh. Dang. Shoot. He sounded like a prospector in a 1950s cartoon. His co-workers noticed. "You get baptized or something?" One of them snorted over lunch. "Nope," Roy said, picking at his sandwich. "You're no fun anymore," said another. A third whispered mock prayers whenever Roy walked by. They started a tally board near the lockers. Days since Roy swore. It reset often, and Roy laughed with them at first. But the edge wore off. Something felt off. The jokes had barbs. Under the teasing was a quiet dare. Come back to us. It wasn't about language. It was about change. One afternoon, Roy nearly cracked. The foreman dumped a last-minute shipment on him. The new guy broke 2 crates with the forklift. The vending machine ate his $1. He clenched his fists. The words surged up from his gut, raw and electric, the way they always had. A parade of obscenities lined up behind his teeth. Then he remembered the jar, and his daughter's handwriting on the masking tape, the little star she'd drawn next to his name. He exhaled, slowly, and said, "Well, let's get this cleaned up." Dead silence. His co-workers looked at him like he'd grown gills. "What a crock of," one muttered, disgusted. That night he emptied the jar on the table. $43. His daughter clapped. "What should we buy?" she asked. Roy stared at the bills. They were just money. But somehow they felt like skin he didn't wear anymore. "Nothing," he said. "Let's keep it going." She beamed, but the pressure didn't stop. The next week, someone played a recording over the warehouse speakers. A chopped-up edit of Roy's greatest hits, every filthy rant, every expletive from years past, stitched together like a parody hymn. Everyone laughed. Roy tried to. That night, he almost didn't go home. Sat in his truck outside the gas station, staring at the wheel, hands shaking. "This is stupid," he muttered. "It's just words." But he knew better. It wasn't about the words, it was about who he used to be, and who he was becoming, and someone didn't like it. The next morning, he walked into work, calm, no retaliation, no rant. He brought donuts, left a sticky note that said clean mouths, full hands, free pastries. They stared, they ate, and the tally board disappeared the next day. Months passed. The jar filled slower now. Not empty, but steady. Roy still slipped, especially when he stubbed his toe or dropped a wrench, but the kids knew the difference between accident and attitude. They started putting in coins of their own when they argued or snapped at each other. It wasn't punishment anymore. It was something else, a quiet practice. One evening, as Roy tucked his daughter into bed, she asked, "Why don't they like it when you're better?" He paused, thought about forklifts, about fake prayers and friends who didn't come around much anymore. "They're not mad," he said. "They're just scared." "Of what?" "That if I can change, maybe they can too." She was quiet for a long time, then said, "I hope they try."